set.
Okay. You're totally dependent on being fed the ball. You're not going to bring up the ball. So I wondered how many touches you need to get, not shots, but touches to feel like you're starting to get in a rhythm like in the first quarter. And if touches isn't the right measurement, please correct me and tell me, just to feel like you're involved, feel like you have decisions.
No. That's a great question. Honestly, it's less, I guess, finding touches just, through a play or something like that. And, it's more finding natural ways to do it. It's something I can definitely do myself, because obviously it's just with every team, there's just not that much ball to go around. And we have a lot of very talented players, and so it's something that, I just have to do more of, just being more aggressive on the offensive boards, making cuts, making myself available in, kind of organic situations, I think.
And the follow-up to that is, I did wonder if you're ever demanding to, with a sense of urgency, whether it's during play or halftime or the practice leading up when you know the plan, would you ever be assertive and speak up to yourself and for yourself and say, I've got a great matchup here, whatever it is, I'm feeling good, give me the bleeping ball?
Yeah, it's something I've talked to coach about before, or I'll talk to, Bud or assistant like Darv or Vin, someone I work with as well. And so, if I feel if that is something, I'll definitely, voice my opinion. I'm comfortable enough to do that.
Let's go next to Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay. I'm not sure if fun is the right word, but so the Suns are an interesting defensive puzzle, right? Because you have the first level problems of Paul and Booker, and then they kick it out and they hit a bunch of threes, or they kick it out and Bridges attacks a closeout, or Ayton rolls it. There's multiple levels to this problem. What has this defensive challenge been like for you, and how do you kind of approach it? Yeah,
it's definitely been intriguing, and it's tough, that's why they teach basketball, good basketball the way they do, about sharing the ball, moving the ball, playing together, because that stuff's true, obviously, and they have talented players at every position who really buy into that, and it makes it difficult. It obviously just takes being on the same page, communicating. Those are, two things off the top, which I know I just kind of listed off, good offensive and good defensive traits that are well known, but it's true.
With the way that they move the ball and the way that Chris Paul kind of controls the game, can it make your impact defensively feel neutered in any way? I keep making the right play, but it doesn't matter because they pass it around me or drive around me or whatever it might be.
It's just, and I, kind of been thinking about this, it's just about making adjustments, and, we're all kind of, both teams, I guess, in basketball, you're trying to create a box to control one team and keep a team in the box, and then they're getting out of it and vice versa. And then, that's kind of what you see happening in real time. We keep trying to create a box to control them, to control one player. And, CP's obviously, such a smart player. He's like having a coach out there, and he's very good at making reads. You see him in control, just kind of dribbling, calling players up, pointing at guys, and really coaching from the floor. And so we just have to be at our best, being active and communicating with one another.
Let's go to Lori for the next question.
I feel like in the 3 years that I've covered you, you've been mentioned that from your teammates, you should be an all-star, and you're not an all-star. You should be defensive player of the year. You get mentions, but Giannis gets it. I think it was even between you and Chris. If the Tokyo Olympics had been last year, I think you were up for that as well. I know you're a humble guy, and you've always said in the past, if the team succeeds, that's good for you. But does this do you check those boxes for motivation? Do you sweep them away and disregard outside opinion, only the organization's opinion? How have you dealt with some of that quote unquote underappreciation status?
Yeah, I definitely use that stuff for motivation. I absolutely do. But, the stuff I've told you as well rings true, and there's stuff I believe as well. It's definitely both.
Steve, go ahead, Steve.
Steve McGarrigus.
Careful, Steve.
Steve McGarrigus, Associated Press. I'm just wondering, y'all went through this before in the second round against Brooklyn. Frankly, those games were more lopsided than the ones in Phoenix, where you were able to come back. Do you draw on that experience going in now, or is it just two totally different things and you can't? I don't know. I was just wondering if you get confidence from that or if it's just a separate thing.
Oh yeah, you definitely draw from that experience. I think we've been really good at just looking at film, reviewing what happened, and going back and implementing changes and making adjustments. And so, Coach mentioned and I agree. He thought we played pretty well in Game 2. The Phoenix was amazing; they were great, but we definitely improved and we got better in Game 2. And so I think we're going to see more of that in Game 3.
Eric, go ahead, please.
So during the Nets series, Kevin would score 45 points or whatever, and we'd all talk about, oh my God, he's a maestro. He's able to do all of this in a losing effort. And it was like a big deal that he did this. Mm-hmm. Giannis put up 42 the other night, and we don't kind of have those same conversations. And I'm curious for you, I guess I'm probably guilty of it too, because I've covered him for so long, but do we just take it for granted, kind of what he can do? It was 42, I think, on 22 shots or something. Do we do that? Do you feel like we do that?
Yeah. It's tough because it's kind of human nature when someone is so great, so routinely. I don't even really want to use the word routinely because when you say routine, it's kind of got a somewhat negative connotation as well. But, I mean, he's so inhuman for us so often. It's I understand how you can see that, but we obviously clearly don't take him for granted, and we need Giannis to be Giannis, and more so each and every game in the series.
I just asked him about it. It feels like since the Nets series, he's gotten a lot more comfortable with, hey, I'm going to get to my spot, hook shot, or I'm going to get to my spot, bump, fade, there it is. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from him in that shot? Because it's a shot that you two take it differently. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. You take them in different ways, but you do those same things. You get to your spot and hit the hook shot and do that. Yeah. So what have you seen from him?
Yeah, it's just, we're seeing his continued growth. And, it's just, I think it's a matter of something that we've seen him do a million times, at Basket One in the practice facility, in him finding that same rhythm and same comfort just in game.
Room for 2 questions.
Next question will be from Davide, followed by Eduardo.
Hey, Brook, you've been with this team for 3 years now, and you guys are always trying to make it to the finals. What do you think made the difference this year?
It's kind of just, the situation we're in right now where we've been resilient. We've had setbacks. We've had times when we failed, and we've been able to come back from these moments, learn from them, and then succeed.
Hey, Brook, Eduardo Vidal from Hispanic Sports Media. You guys finished with 225 passes made last game, 43 passes less than the Suns. Do you think the team should rotate the ball more to move Phoenix defense and get better shots?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. If you look at games 1 and 2, Phoenix definitely made us work defensively. And that's something we need to do to them as well. They made us work game 1 and 2. We didn't really make them work as much defensively as they did.
Back in the room, we'll go to Steve.
Just going back to Giannis, after game 1, he had said when he first got hurt, he thought it was a year. This was going to be that type of process. From a teammate's perspective, what were you thinking when you first saw the injury, and when did you realize there was a realistic possibility you could get him this soon?
I didn't see, as part of the actual play, and I kind of turned once it happened, so I didn't see the ensuing action. I know it was, a rough watch, but, I honestly, I didn't really have any expectation. I don't really, watch ESPN or read media, pay attention to anything like that. So I didn't really have any viewpoint, but what they kind of gave us. And so, I heard all the talk from our guys, and, I guess I didn't really have a fully formed picture in my mind, honestly. It was just kind of day to day, hoping to hear word on Giannis and everything like that. And just at the same time, we had our series to play, so we were just focused on taking care of business on court as well. So it was just a matter of hoping for the best for Giannis while, trying to do what we could.
Take two more in the room. Let's go ahead. And then Lori will finish.
Brooke, at the end of the first half, they had a possession where I think, if I remember correctly, it was 12 passes, where it just went all the way around, all the way back. In the middle of that, Chris got a tip. Like, you guys had recovered well enough, and I know you weren't on the floor at that time, but like, it speaks to how well they're moving the ball, but it also speaks to how well you guys can rotate. Like, is that something that you guys can use mentally yourselves? Like, hey, they can move the ball, but we got this. Like,
no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, watching it, they moved the ball well, but they had to work. They had to move the ball like as well as they possibly could, and they ended up getting that 8-1, but it was difficult. It wasn't easy for them, and that's how we have to be. We have to make everything as difficult as possible for them.
Do you do anything special to work on being sure-handed? And I think about like the pass that was behind you from Drew that you slammed down in the Atlanta series. Football players, they work with the jugs machines and balls being blasted at them, and you have a wide area that. Is that just natural from practice and you have a big wingspan, or do you actually do specific drills or strength things that help you?
Yeah, I think it's just all from repetition and practice. One of the main things I like to do is I just like to, when we're working on my floaters with a basket floor with like Darvin or with Ben, just catching with one hand and finishing, not bringing the other hand in to control it, just catching one hand, going up, finishing, catching one hand, finishing. I just think that does everything.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you, guys.